How are you? My name is Dr. Jacqueline Milano Kibundala. I am a lecturer of Sociology and Social Work in the Department of Sociology and Social Work in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. I'm a lecturer here, and we are going to study Knowledge Area 2, OSS 123, Classical Sociology. In here, classical sociological theory, we are going to study historical materialism by Karl Marx, class theory, class consciousness, social inequality. All these the views of Karl Marx and modern capitalism by Max Weber. Founding father of sociology. Here we are studying two major founding fathers of sociology. We are studying about Karl Marx, a revolutionary who changed the world, and Max Weber. Who was Karl Marx? Karl Marx was born in 1883. He is considered as the father of communism. Karl Marx was a German Jewish by birth, and he was a scholar in economy, sociology, philosopher, and revolutionist. He was a revolutionary who predicted a knowledge of downfall of capitalism. And if you know history, that happened. Capitalism failed, and 1917, Russia became the first communist state after the Bolshevik Revolution. Karl Marx discussed many things, and one of them he discussed about materialistic conceptual history. Marx discussed many views, and will be going through those views. You might find sometimes those views are contradicted or sometimes are interrelated, but in briefly, that was what Karl Marx said. He said about historical materialism. In historical materialism, Marx said that it is a theory of socio-economic development according to which changes in material condition are the primary influence on how society and the economy are organized. According to Marx, it's a theory based on socio-economic development. But according to him, the changes happen because of material conditions. Actually, material conditions are the major thing which influence society and economy in general. Material. Marx said that material, it is the major thing which material condition which influence society. It is not the consciousness of men which determine their existence. It is on the contrary the social existence which determines their consciousness. Consciousness, awareness. According to Marx, it is not awareness of men, consciousness, which determines existence. That it does not mean awareness of how we live, but according to Marx, it is a social existence, how we survive, how we live, that determines our awareness. We will go on and understand what does it mean. He said that looks for the cause of development and the changes in human society in the means by which humans collectively produce the necessities of life, social classes and the relationship between them, plus political structures and the way of which in society are founded on reflecting on the contemporary economic activities. Marx says that all development which you see in this world depends on economic activity. It means all social classes and relationships which are made because of economic activity. Material conception of history. Class theory. One of the theory of Karl Marx is class theory. In class theory, he said that the history of hitherto existing society is a history of class struggle. According to Marx, that the history of the history of society, if we study society, the history of society, it is a history of class struggle. According to this view, is that human being emerged from primitive and very maybe relative and differential state. It has remained fundamentally divided between the classes to clash in the pursuit of their classes. That we as a society, we have a different we have a class struggle, and that class struggle is because we are divided between classes. So in another way, we can say that according to Marx, that the society, the history of society, the history of society is a history of class struggle. It is a history of the haves and have-nots. That is what Marx said. And what caused this is because of material possessions. That is what Marx said. That is why we have class struggle. That in a society, there are people who have the haves, the rich people, the wealthy people, and on the other hand, there are people with nothing, the have-nots, the proletarians, the poor people. So these are the class struggle. They are struggling between these two people, the haves and have-nots. That is what Marx said. Material conception of history. Under capitalism, there is an antagonism division between the buyers and the seller of labor, between the exploiters and the exploited, between the have and the have-nots, rather than functional collaboration between them. That's what we call class struggle. That is what Marx is saying. Marx said, after observing the Western society, that in that time there was a capitalism. And according to Marx, that capitalism, based on capitalism, society is in a class struggle, a struggle between the haves and have-nots. That is what he's saying, that this is antagonistic, there's antagonistic, there's a conflict. Antagonism means conflict. There's a conflict between the rich and the poor, between the buyers and sellers of labor. Someone who is buyer and seller. The one who is selling his labor. This person is poor. He sells his labor, kubeba kokodo, and someone who is rich, who is buying that is labor. These people are always in conflict, according to Marx. He said that there's a exploiter and exploited between the haves and the have-nots. That in a society there's not a proper function smooth. No, there is a class struggle. There is a class struggle within society. Marx analysis continually centers upon how relationships between men are shaped by their position in regard to the forces of production. That is by their access to scarce resources and power. So Marx is saying that analysis that all relationships between men are shaped because of forces of production. Whatever we have relationship in this world between maybe rich and poor, between mother and the community, between priest and his member, this is because all these relationships are shaped because of the position of forces of production. Conflict classes interests are the central determinant of social process. They are engine of history. The potential for class conflict is inherited in every society that has a division of labor. According to Marx, that there is a division of labor, and that division of labor, within a division of labor, there will be always a conflict of interests. Why there's a conflict of interest? Because there are haves and have-nots. Then he said, it is when class consciousness is attained that revolution become possible. Self-conscious classes are distinct from aggregates of people sharing a common fate, need of the images, the number. So he said, after conflicting classes, again, these people, there'll be a class consciousness that people will be looking who are having the same elements, who are having the same economic possession equal. They will join together and create a class consciousness. So, the measures of class consciousness depends on what? According to Karl Marx, that class consciousness is brought with the people who are almost economical equality. They belong to them, they create class consciousness that we, the proletariat, we, the fishermen, we, the so forth and so on. So, how? The images of class consciousness depends on network of communication, how these people communicate each other. Again, is a critical mass, common enemy. Another things which made people to unite together is because they have common enemy. If they feel that our enemy is this rich man, they will all united against that one man. And by doing that, they created their own class consciousness. Another thing is organization. Organizing people with the same interest also can create class consciousness. And another thing is ideology. In order to combine, to make people unite together, to unify people, you have to have ideology. You have to have a dogma. You have to have an idea of what you believe. What is the objective of you being united together, and what is the, what is the fruit of you being together? At the end of your unity, what do you expect from that unity? And that's what we call ideology. You find that this is in the parties. Many parties have ideology. Party members have ideology, means they believe in that ideology. They believe in that idea, that this idea will make them fulfill what they are desired, which they wish. In the revolutionary period, it even happens that some representative of dominant class shift allegiance. There are some of bourgeoisie ideologists who have raised themselves to the level of comprehending the history, as we'll go over to proletariat. So, Karl Marx say that if their ideology is okay, there are some people who may even shift from being bourgeoisie and go to the another class. Bourgeoisie means those who have those they have, they call bourgeoisie. Okay. Another idea of material conception of history is social inequality. We've discussed about class struggle. We've discussed about class consciousness. Now we're studying about class social inequality. Marx. According to Marx, he sees society as based on class struggle, as said earlier. Capitalism underpinned by benefit of social income. For example, large-scale unemployment keeps wages down. Large-scale unemployment keeps wages down. So if many people are not employed, the wages will always be down. So according to Karl Marx, social inequality, another element or another material conception of history is that there is a social inequality. The capitalism, based on Marx, is that saw its own seed of destruction, in part due to the boom-bust nature of the economy. That in capitalism, the economy is not distributed, or production, or is not the fruit of production is not, or resources are not distributed equally in a society. There are some people who gain more than others. For example, the rich people gain more as compared to poor people. That is Marx. And by doing that, you create social inequality in a society. Marx believed that through polarization of wealth, the inequalities of capitalism will be exposed. Polarization. The word polarization means polar. So polarization means polarization of wealth, that there's a wealth over here and there's no wealth over here. The wealth is accumulated in one particular area on one particular group of people, while other people are not having any wealth. So that one, it will expose capitalism to see how the capitalism is very bad system. Marx did not like the welfare state. He felt it maintained the capitalist system, and the only way social inequality will be resolved in this radical social inequality. So according to Marx, he believed that welfare state, it is still a product, or it will encourage capitalism. So he suggested that in order to come with an equal state where equal distribution of resources of that particular state, he wanted to have a radical social and political change in order to get that type of society. So that is what we've talked about Marx, about his historical materialistic conception of history. There's a class struggle over there. There is a social inequality, and class consciousness. So when we discuss about materialistic conception of history, you have to remember that there is a class struggle, there is a class consciousness, and social inequality. Now, we are going another, the essence of Marxist theory and the class struggle. As I said earlier, you might find the views sometimes are interrelated or confusing, but that is what Karl Marx's view. Okay, in here we'll be studying about conflicts, class conflict. Marx regarded classes and class struggle as historical phenomena which took place at a given stage of historical development. So, according to Marx, these are classes and class struggle are happening historical, as historical phenomena. That's the reason for development, or the reason for development to be the way it was that time is because there was a classes and there was a class struggle. Actually, classes created class struggle, and that is a historical development of the way they were those days. So in his mind, he wanted a classless society, a society where there be no any classes, that all people will be equal, because the society which he was living, according to Marx, the development which they had, they were in a classes. There was a classes because there was a division of labor. And division of labor created classes. And the classes make production or make economy to polarize, to have two ways. Economy of other people become so wealthy because the way division of labor in the society, division of labor create classes of poor and rich people. Rich people have resources and will have wealth, while poor people have nothing. They use their labor to get spend money, but by doing that are more exploited. So, according to Marx, in order to have a good society, a classless society, we have to remove this type of society in order to come with a stable society. You have to remove a society which are having classes. Okay. As we said earlier, that idea of class conflict is essential to Marxian thought. Marx talked a lot, but briefly, idea of class conflict. According to Marx, society is in the conflict. That is what is the central idea. Okay. Marx sociology is often called the sociology of class conflict. The idea of class war emerges from the theory of dialectic materialism, materialistic interpretation of history and value. So, one of the things which we have to remember is that Marx talks a lot, but the major thing in his thought is that society has a conflict, and that conflict are caused because of classes. Marx assumed that the history of existing society is the history of class struggle between freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guild master and journey master. In a way, the oppressors and oppressed stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on uninterrupted, now hidden and open fight. A fight that each time ended in revolutionary reconstitution of society, large or in common. So that is what Marx believes, that society is always in the class conflict, is in a class struggle because of the wealthy and the poor people in the society. That is what Marx said. Marx said war between classes. That is number one. Marx said that according to the relentless law of history, particular class own and control means of production and by the virtue exploits the other. According to Marx is that due to many sociological factors, we might find that some classes, or maybe historically, having wealth. Anyway, whatever type of way, but some classes are having concentration of wealth as compared to other people. And I say that that is means of production by virtue, and by having those power, not power, by having that wealth, they control those who are having no wealth. That is what Marx means when he say war between classes. The capitalist class makes use of state as an instrument of oppression and exploitation. So, Marx was a German, and German that time was a capitalist country. So, according to Marx, he assumed or he observed that capitalist society use state to oppress those who are having they have not. And another word according the proletarians, according to Marx, and those who are having the haves, the bourgeoisies. So according to Marx is that the proletarians, the poor people, are being exploited using state government uses its own power to exploit the poor people. That's at every stage there are broadly two classes: the exploiters, the owner, means of production, and the exploited. That in every society, these exploiters, the owners of means of production, those who own means of production, those who own wealthy in any society are the exploiters, and those who have nothing, they have not, the exploited. Okay, class conflict. We are talking here about class conflict. The development of proletariat. Capital is gained, according to Marx, from the exploitation of the masses of population, the working class. The development of the proletariat. Number one, Marx says that the capital which the wealthy, the rich people get, actually they get from exploiting the working class, the poor people. Importance of property. Number two, according to Marx, the most distinct feature of any society is its form of property. Individual behavior is determined by its relation to property. Property division are the crucial breaking lines in a class structure. Classes are determined on the basis of the individual. So, importance of property. According to Marx, property is a very important in any society, and it is a property which makes line between those who are having and who are not having. So when you have a property, you have a respect in a society. While you don't have property, you are being considered as nobody. So Marx, based on that is conflict. And those who are having property, they are always in conflict with those who are having, sometimes open and sometimes hidden. It is a class struggle. It is a continuous conflict between those two classes. That is what Marx said. Identification of economic and political power and authority. From a Marxian perspective, political power emerges from economic power. Marx believed that political power, any political power in the world, emerges from economic power. You cannot have political power without having economic power. For example, the kings. Actually, kings were the lords of the land. If you know the history of Europe, there was a small lords. For example, someone can own Kinondoni, and another can own Tegeta. But when you combine with the Tegeta owner, Kinondoni owner, you go to Mwananyamala owner, all those people, when you combine those owners, they were owned by one person. That person might be called king. So king owned economic power, then he distributed his power down. So Marx said that political power emerges from economic power. The political and legal system reflect ruling class interests. According to Marx, what we have ruling, the political system, all reflecting ruling classes. What does it mean? It means that those who are making, the lawmakers are wealthy people. And those laws are made to protect them, or they make laws to protect themselves. Poor people cannot make laws. How? They don't have economic power. So political and legal system, all are made to reflect the ruling class interests. The political power and the ideology thus seem to serve the same function for capitalist class consciousness serves for the working class. So political power and the ideology, it works for capitalists. Capitalists have political power, but also use ideology, use propaganda in order to control mass, to control the working class. But also it says that even though are being controlled, these poor people, they have class consciousness. They have their own consciousness. They know that we are Walalahoi. They know that one. Even though they might not show, but they have their own unity of their own club, which they consider themselves as one. Another things which Marx said about class conflict is polarization of classes. Dear students, you might find it as if I'm repeating, but this is what Karl Marx discusses. That's why I'm almost like repeating the same points. Okay, class conflict. Another class conflict, which another element is said about polarization of classes. In the capitalist society, there could be only two classes. According to Marx, polarization of classes. Polar means polar. Polar is like a pole. There's another polar, maybe northern, and the south pole. So these are two classes which cannot mix together because of material, because of property. There's a polarization. The haves are on their side and the have-nots are on their another side. The capitalists who own the means of production and distribution, they are the owner of means of production. They are the owner of the land. They are the owner of the industries. They are the owner and they distribute it. The working class who own nothing but their own labor. The working class, they are another part. That is a polarization which Karl Marx said that rich people, they are owner of the means of production and the distribution. They can distribute. They are rich and wealthy. They are in their another side. And the other side here, they are poor people. Poor people who they have nothing, but they only have, they sell their labor, nothing else, only their labor. The theory of surplus value. Class conflict. Marx believed that the capitalists accumulate profit through the exploitation of labor. So according to Marx, the capitalists, the rich people, accumulate profit. They gain a lot of profit because they exploit poor people. In fact, the relationship between the capitalists and workers is not only of dominance and subordination, but also for exploitation. According to Marx, is that the relationship between the rich people is not of subordination or dominance. No, it is exploitation. The rich people are there to exploit the poor. That's the main thing. They are there to exploit the poor. The workers produce more wealth in the form of food, manufactured goods, and serve their necessity to meet their basic needs. They produce many things for the workers produce more wealth in the form of food, manufactured goods than is necessary to meet their basic needs. Actually, according to Marx, that the workers, because they are being exploited, they have nothing. They sell their labor in order to survive, and by selling their labor, they produce wealth in the form of food, manufactured, but more than what they need for themselves, because they have nothing. In other words, they produce surplus wealth, but they do not enjoy the use of surplus wealth they have created. The labor, the poor people are the one who produce wealthy because they use their labor. By doing that, they create a surplus with extra wealth which is not needed. But because they are poor and they are being used to produce that wealth, they don't enjoy what they've been produced. Instead, those who own the means of production are able to seize this surplus as profit for their own use. Okay, this profit is being enjoyed by the rich people. That is what Marx. And poor people are only instruments. They are like machines, only producing, but they don't enjoy the wealth. Who are enjoying? These rich people. Those who the owners of means of production, those who are having capitals, they are the ones who are enjoying. According to Marx, this is the essence of exploitation and the main sources of conflict within the classes. So he discusses many causes of conflict between classes, and this is one of them, the surplus value, we call it. That is surplus value because these people, poor people, they have nots, produce a lot, but enjoy nothing, gain nothing, created a class conflict between them and the rich people. Pauperization. another reason or another factor of class conflict is exploitation of workers can only add to their misery and the poverty. But the same exploitation helps the rich to become rich. In every mode of production which involves the exploitation of man by man, majority of people, the people who are labor, are condemned to toil for no more than their base necessity of life. According to Marx, poverty is a result of exploitation, not of scarcity. Actually, pauperization, they become like pauper, they become like cartoons, these poor people, according to Marx. What he says that, and these people are being exploited, and being exploited again, it adds to their misery and poverty. But the same exploitation helps the rich to become rich. Alienation. Another class conflict is alienation. Alienation, the process of alienation, is essential to Marxian theory of class conflict. The economic exploitation in human working conditions lead to increased alienation of man. Alienation resulted from a lack of sense of control over the social world. The social world confronts people as hostile, leaving them alien in the environment that they have created. The situation of alienation reckons the mood of the worker for a conflict. Alienation, they became alien. They are not happy. They have no any reason to live. They are not attached to where they are. They are not happy. That is what Karl Marx said. The alienation. It creates class conflict. It creates lack of belongingness. They are like strangers in their own country. Class solidarity and antagonism. With the growth of class consciousness among the working class, their class solidarity become crystallized. That this class solidarity and antagonism, they become class conflicts make these people become class solidarity. They become loyal to each other while they are antagonized. They are conflicting. The working class become internally more homogeneous, and this would help to intensify the class struggle. Because of this class feeling and solidarity, the workers are able to form union against bourgeoisie. Poor people are united together, according to Marx. Have to be united together because of class consciousness that all are poor. Being poor will make them combine together. By being together, they have a class feeling or class consciousness, and that one will make them to form their own union against these rich people. They come together in order to keep up the rate of wage. So they have to form associations which will make them, united in order to fight for their wages. That is what Marx said. They form an association to make provision before whatever. They have to show their rights through their unions, through their class struggle. Class solidarity. Here and the contest break out into revolution. So Marx said that when the class struggle reaches its height, a violent revolution breaks out which destroys the structure of capital. So he suggested here, after class struggle, because according to Marx we have said already, a history of society is a history of class struggle. According to Marx, the haves and have-nots. That is what Marx is saying. And that creates class conflict, that these two classes are always in antagonism, are always in fighting between, sometimes hidden fight, sometimes open fight. Sometimes they go poor people and burn the cars of rich people. Sometimes they agitate in silence, sometimes open. That's what Marx says. So, but he says that when this struggle reaches its height, one day that class struggle will reach peak. When it reaches peak, a violent revolution breaks out which destroys the structure of capitalist society. That when class struggle becomes rich, now it is a time for these poor people, known as proletarians, or known as the have-nots, have to go and remove the capitalist society, that structure in the society. This revolution is more or less to occur at the peak of economic crisis, which is part of the recurring boom and repression characteristics of capitalism. So Karl Marx assumed that revolution have to occur during the economic crisis. For example, when maybe prices are raised, that is the time when the revolution might happen in order to remove that capitalist society. Marx felt that the revolution will be a bloody one. So he suggested also that in order to remove a capitalist society, the classes in a society, that the removal should be of blood one. It should be a forceful removal. The revolution terminates the capitalist society and leads to the social dictatorship of the proletariat. Marx suggested that the revolution should be of blood. Then after removing them, you have to put a state of proletariat. Dictatorship of proletariat, dictatorship of walalahoi, you put there in the power. Since the revolution results in the liquidation of bourgeoisie, they will cease to have any power and will be reduced to the ranks of proletariat. Thus, the inevitable historical process destroys the bourgeoisie. The aim of putting a bloody revolution is to remove forcefully a class of proletariat, a class of bourgeoisie, rich people. Then when you remove them through dictatorship, we said through dictatorship of proletariat, by using force, then these people will become also poor, or will become also proletariat. That is what he suggests. So Karl Marx provided a method of how to create eco society. It's through revolution, and that revolution of blood. Because why? Because society is in struggle between the have and the have-nots. That is what was his suggestion. The dictatorship of proletariat. The proletariat then established their social dictatorship. That after removing them, the proletariat should establish dictatorship. Marx, this community were out to destroy personal liberty, and who wish to turn the world into one light barrack into gigantic warehouse. So that is what he will say, that we have to remove that type of class. Inauguration of the communist society. After attaining the success in the revolution, the workers in course of time would create a new socialist state or society. So according to Marx, that after dictatorship of proletariat, after removal of dictatorship class, after removal of the haves, the capitalist group in a society, now the society has to create a new socialist society. In the new society, the means of producing and distributing wealth will be public and not private owned. That in order to create an equal society is that all means of production will be equally distributed in a society, in a state equally. The new socialist society will be a classless and a caste society free from the exploitation of all sorts. That is what he was suggesting. In this society, no one owns anything, but everybody owns everything. Each individual contributing according to his ability and receive So that is what he says, that after removal of revolution, a proletariat should establish a stateless and a stateless society where there will be equality, and everyone will be distributed anything in that society. Conclusion: it is clear that every stage in history there is a war between the classes. Between the classes, there is endless antagonism and hatred. Class conflict is the severest form of class struggle. So that is what we can conclude by Marx, that he believes that the society is in a class struggle. It is in a class struggle because of division of labor. And that division of labor has distributed different two major groups: the haves, those who are having, and those who are not having, the have-nots, the proletariat. So always society is in a conflict between those two groups. And how to remove these groups? You have to remove these groups through class consciousness. Create a class consciousness in a society. People, they should know that they belong to a poor, low class. After class consciousness, these people will unite, then they will create revolution. Mostly probably suggest a blood war revolution. Then after removing the rich class, you put your dictatorship of proletariat. Then after removing that dictatorship, after putting that dictatorship of proletariat, what you support, you have to establish a stateless and a casteless society. That is the end of what Karl Marx views on society, on state, class conflict theory, and the class conflict theory. Now we are going to another person. His name is Max Weber. Again, Max Weber also lived in that era. Lived in 1904. Max Weber wrote a book about capitalism. Max Weber was also a German sociologist, economist, and a politician. He wrote a book in 1904 and 1908. Max Weber discusses about religion, especially Christianity, and the way Christianity influenced economy of that particular time. Origin of the Protestant work ethic. Weber traced the origin of Protestant ethic in Reformation through the acknowledge some respect for secular everyday labor as early in the Middle Ages. The Roman Catholic Church assured salvation to individuals who accepted the Church's sacrament. However, the Reformation effectively removed such assurance. According to Weber, Max Weber, in his time where he was living, there was a reformation, that a Catholic Church was being reformed by so many social thinkers of that time. And by doing that, according to him, he saw that there are some Protestants who have becoming wealthy because or more as compared to other people. It says that Roman Catholic Church assures salvation to individuals accepted the Church's sacrament. However, the Reformation effectively removed the assurance. Weber shows that certain branches of Protestantism they supported worldly activities dedicated to become economic gain, seeing them as endowed with moral and spiritual significance. this recognition was not a goal in itself, rather they were byproduct of other doctrines of faith that encourage planning, hard work, self-denial in the pursuit of world reach. So, according to Max Weber, he said that these people, the Protestant, there are some group of Protestants, have become rich, and he contributed their wealth based on their faith, that it is their faith, Protestant faith, which made them rich. For example, he said that dedicated economic gain, that they have the moral and spiritual significance. They were encouraged to invest according to Protestant faith, and by being encouraged to invest, they become rich. Weber wrote that capitalism in Northern Europe evolved when Protestants, either ethnic influence large number of people to engage in work in the secular world, developing their own enterprises and engaging in trade in the accumulation of wealth for investment. According to Max Weber, the capitalism which we saw in Europe, it was involved because of Protestant ethic, the ethic Protestant, the doctrine, the principle of Protestants made these people to become rich, because it was involved people to engage in secular work. Protestants preached in people to work hard. That is what he said. And by work hard, they develop their enterprises and they accumulate wealth because they are doing trade and other activities. They invested. So it is because of faith, capitalist Protestant faith, which made them capitalists. In other words, Protestant work ethic was an important force, being the unplanned and uncoordinated images of modern capitalism. So, according to Max Weber, Protestant work ethic, the principles and the morals of Protestant made them become capitalists, a modern capitalist. In the absence of such assurance from religious authority, Weber argued that Protestants began to look for other signs that they were saved. If we go to the history of Europe, before that there was a Roman Catholic Church where people were to be loyal to church. They have to put their sacraments over the church. But when Protestants came, they removed that type of being loyal to church. They encourage people to work hard, and they don't encourage them to invest in their churches, but they encourage them to work hard and save. So Max Weber observed this and said that the modern capitalism in Europe, especially Western Europe, was because of Reformation. So he wrote his book. His book is called Protestant Ethic and Spirit of Capitalism, that argues Puritan ethics and ideas influence the development of capitalism. Puritan is a group of Protestants. The spirit of capitalism does not refer to the spirit in metaphysical sense, but rather a set of values and spirit of hard work and process. The word spirit here is not related to metaphysical, to theological, to superstitions. No, it means a set of values, some morals, which set as a guideline to those believers. Spirit of hard work and progress. So that is what spirit of capitalism, the values of capitalism, which made these people became rich. For example, a common instruction is that of Kobler, hunched over his work, who he devotes his entire effort to the praise of God. He defines the spirit of capitalism as the idea of the spirit that favors rational pursuit of economic gain. For example, according to Max Weber, he chose the example of Kobler, someone who is making shoes. So he engaged himself, because Protestantism teach about religion and work and hard work, while Catholicism was not teaching that. It encouraged people to work hard as a part of gaining spiritual blessing from God. So you might find a cobbler is involved in his work so much, and by doing that, in his faith, he believed that he's been blessed. So you find that in one way or another, Marx says that type of spirit made these people become rich, because they combine their religion, ethics, plus hard working. Characteristic of capitalism. According to Marx, accumulation of capital of money for its own sake. Money is dominated by the making of money, by acquisition as the ultimate purpose of life. So, characteristic of capitalism is the accumulation of capital. That was one. Through, according to Max Weber, through religion, these people invest what? They invest their money. Investment and reinvestment, and not consumption. Another characteristics of capitalism is to invest. If you want to be capitalist, you have to invest. So, so the main characteristic of capitalism is investment, reinvestment, and not consumption. So, reformation through Protestantism, encouraging investment and not consume. So, by doing that, these people became capitalists and wealthy. What are the factors which are leading to capitalism? The one factor is say that Europe, Middle Ages, dominated by Roman Catholic, discouraged accumulation of wealth. In Middle Ages, in Europe, when Roman Catholic was the only church, it discouraged people to invest or to accumulate wealth. But when it comes Reformation time and the emergence of Protestantism, people attitude changed, and Protestantism by nature encouraged accumulation of wealth. Protestantism spread during 5th and 6th century. A good Protestant and successful country which follows Max Weber is America. Protestant ethics. What the Protestant ethics says? It says individual should fulfill his world duty. Protestant does not teach religion out from the world reality. It teaches world reality attached with spirituality. That is why he said that fulfill your duties. The main religion, the main whatever in Protestant is work. They have been told, even in the Bible, that you have to work to get blessings, to gain. So Protestantism, main thing is fulfilling his worldly duties. That is one ethic. This factor also created, images of capitalism. Another thing is salvation. Good works in world activity is required. According to Protestantism, salvation also, you can receive salvation by good work. Means when you do your work, do good, you might go to heaven. You can get saved. So that was also another ethics which encourage capitalism. Emphasis on calling. Success is a sign of being saved. According to Protestant ethics, being success again is some sort of blessings. If you are poor, people consider that if you are being either cursed or maybe God does not want to. But if you become wealthy, people assumed, Protestants assumed when people are rich, also God bless them spiritually, even physically and health-wise. So that mentality in Protestantism is there. Ethics, moral energy and drive of capitalism, entrepreneur and encouragement. Protestants encourage entrepreneurship and encourage moral energy of working. Puritan in America, hardworking and enterprising. A good example of this successful is America. America is a Protestant country. It evolved. One of the major factors is because it has Protestant ethics. Accumulation of wealth was morally sanctioned if combined with the sober industrial career. That is, it was encouraged of a wealth which is a clean wealth. That is another thing. Well, wealth should not be used for luxury and self-help. Protestant ethic discouraged using of wealth in a useless way, in a luxury way. It says that wealth should be accumulated and not used luxury. By doing that, many people began to invest. First they saved, and then invest, and then they become capitalists. Rationality. Attitudes towards science change. Also, rationality. Other things which made modern capitalism, or it is that because attitudes towards science change, people changed their mentality and attitude. Rationalism towards science, religion, law, and administration. People changed the way they viewed the world, changed. For example, the way they viewed religion changed. The way they science, law, and administration. Other new ideas came, which all those things encouraged to the rise of capitalism. Being rich before, when someone is poor, is considered as a saint. It's considered he has left everything for the sake of going with God. It was considered to be a saint. But a new Protestant ethical idea came where rich people were considered saints, as if they've been blessed by wealth. So that new ideas, rationalism, religion, concept, change of attitude. Application of new techniques and method of production. Application of techniques and method of production. Scientific revolution came again. It encouraged change. It encouraged capitalism in people. Use of labor. People use labor. Regulation. Government. Growth of well-established political and legal framework. From this also, we find that bureaucracy was involved in a very good way. That political and legal. There was no some sort of exploitation. Framework was clear. Everything was done clearly. Growth of nation states important to national interests. Growth of nation states. States became big. People became a feeling of nation state. Growth of national power, economic strength, right? Productive efficiency of capitalism, growth of urban sector, cut off from rural, different interests in property, growth of market. Market also increased. Laissez-faire and competitive economy. Economy was not so much rigid. Economy became flexible. It allows and accumulate. Whoever wants to do business, whoever wants to invest, whoever wants to prosper. Different classes with different interests. Different classes, they emergence of so many classes, but with different interests. They are different from plumbers to economists to wood makers who are having different interests. But no class conflict as invested by Marx. So according to Marx, Karl Marx said that they have notes when you have division of classes in a society, there will be having class struggle or conflict. But here we find that Max Weber said that there was a different classes in a society, but these different classes also have different interests. So everyone was fighting for his interest. By doing that, there was no class conflict because everyone is fighting for what he wanted to achieve. Features of capitalism: free and open market, no artificial control or limitation to change. That is one of the features of capitalism. There's a free market. Monetized economy, growth of accounting system, growth of industrial entrepreneur. According to Marx, that monetized economy. Monetize your economy. Make your economy in form of money, not in form of I don't know, barter trade or whatever. Make monetized economy in order to get growth of industrial enterprises. Rational accounting system, commercialization of economy. Make or set a rational accounting system where you can count your taxes, you can count your interest, your loss and profit. And the commercialization of economy. Make your economy active, make it commerce, make it trade. That is what Marx said. Max Weber. Rational technology production, growth of factory. Again, another things which Max Weber says that rational technology in production. If you want to grow, you have to have a rational technology in production. Make advanced technology, especially in your production. Another capitalist element or feature is private ownership. Max Weber said that capitalists, modern capitalists, encourage private ownership. Let your people own their own land. They should own land. They should own equipment. They should own private sector finance and whatever. No further evolution of capitalism, unlike Marxian theory. Max Weber said by doing that there will be no evolution of capitalism, like what Karl Marx said, that there will be evolution, revolution, whatever. And Max Weber said that there will be no class struggle, no exploitation, all struggle is in the market. When you have this type of modern capitalism, what you expected is you expected a struggle in the market. Everyone will try to put her or his products in the market in order to be purchased. That's all. But there will be no revolution. There will be no class struggle. There will be no revolution as Karl Marx suggested. Okay, there's a criticism. Max Weber has talked many things, but there are also a lot of criticism in his modern capitalism theory. Okay, one of the criticism is post-reform Catholicism encouraged capitalist growth. Puritans were against capital and accumulation of wealth. He said that post-reform Catholicism, after we know that Roman Catholic Church was attacked by many Protestants. But the point, after doing a lot of reformation, also they encourage capitalists. So it is not true that only reformers or Protestant only encourage capitalism. But even post-reform Catholicism, Catholics also encourage capitalism. That is one. Again, he said that Puritans were a group of Protestants who, according to Max Weber, they are the one who prosper under Protestantism. But they say that, even though they say that, but these Puritans were the one who were against accumulation of wealth. So that is one of the criticisms that Max Weber is contradicting himself. Weber's example for only England and America, but in Europe, there's no connection between capitalism and Calvinism. Just to give examples of England and America as the growth of of capitalism, which are caused because of Protestantism. But in Europe, there's no connection between capitalism and Calvinism. Japan developed without Puritanism, German and France with the Roman Catholic. He said that the development of capitalism is because of Puritanism, Protestantism. That is what he said. But it is true in our time. Japan, which is not even a Christian country, it is a Shintoist, it has their own faith, developed without even that Puritanism or that Protestantism, which Max Weber said that was one of the source for development of capitalism. Another thing is Germany and France were and still are Catholic countries, but they are very well advanced in economy. They are not Protestant. No causal connection established between capitalism and Protestantism. He has not correct clearly what's the relationship between capitalism and Protestantism. Internal struggle in capitalism is ignored. Max Weber ignores internal struggle in capitalism. In this sense, as we compare with Karl Marx said there's a class struggle, and it is true. In some way or another, within even in capitalism, in a capitalist country, and a good example in America, there's a class struggle between the haves and the have-nots, sometimes hidden and sometimes busted out. So Max Weber ignored this factor. He said there's no class struggle. So they said here he ignored that element of class struggle in a capitalist world. That is what this Marx said. Accumulation for its own sake is irrational. Consumption has to increase. Impact of colonies and the colonial wealth ignored. He said that this country developed because of capitalism. That's why they become rich. But in this sense also, he has forgotten that these countries also, they got a lot from their colonies. These countries, England, even though it's a Protestant country, but it had a lot of colonies around the world. So that one cannot be ignored and said only because they became Protestant, that's why they become rich. No, the colonies, production which they received from their colonies contributed a lot in the wealth of these countries. Impact of industrial revolution has been ignored. Max Weber, he said the wealth was because of Protestantism. Yes, it is true. But he has forgotten about industrial revolution. Industrial revolution smoothened a lot of production which were being done through hands and made it easily and in large quantity because of machines. So, capitalists evolved also because of the industrial revolution. Unfortunately, Max Weber ignored this also. Mentioned capitalism only in the 15th centuries, industrial capitalism of 18th and 19th century ignored. No free market, but monopoly and oligopoly dominates the exploitation of consumers and workers. He ignored mentioned capitalism who were in the 15th and 16th centuries. If you remember, in those years, 15th and 16th, there are so many merchant capitalists who went far from their Europe, went even to Asia to do trade. They went where some sort of Karl Peters and others. Also, this also accumulated a lot in their wealth. But Max Weber ignored all those things and contributed only development of capitalism as a reason because of Protestantism. Okay, even ignores industrial capitalism. No free market but monopoly and oligopoly. Exploitation of consumers. Also ignored that exploitation of consumers and workers was still and are still there, even though it may be hidden. But it's true that there are so many people who are in capitalist states are being injured by this capitalism. Therefore, now that is what we can conclude about Max Weber. And so, in making a major conclusion, we can say that Max Weber believed that modern capitalism was contributed because of Reformation, which was happened in 15th to 16th centuries, up to 18 in Europe. That the major reformations was because of Protestantism. The emergence of Protestantism, faith in Europeans, made them the faith of Europe, the faith of Protestantism, encouraging in saving more, encouraging investing more, as compared to Catholicism, which discouraged saving. And by doing that, majority of Protestants became rich and became capitalists. And according to Max Weber, there's no conflict, class conflict or class struggle in a society. What it is in a society is a struggle for interest only, and a struggle for selling products. Someone is struggling to sell her or his product in the market. That is what we can finalize or conclude to that. Thank you very much.